Welcome back to the Rise and Grind Workshop. If you're new here, my name is Ryan, and today I have another complete unboxing, setup, and overview for you. And you guys have been asking me for a very long time to do one of these, and we finally had the opportunity when the amazing team over at Inksonic reached out to us and asked if we had an interest in reviewing one of their new DTF printers. So the team over there at Inksonic was gracious enough to send us not only the printer, but the printer oven combo. So the oven is inside of this crate as well. And according to the website, this entire package weighs about 130 pounds and the unit itself weighs about 80 pounds. And the model they sent us is their brand new 1390 C13A model. I will have a link to that down below in the description as well. Let's go ahead and get you some overall dimensions. The width is going to be 36 1/4. The overall depth is going to be 16 3/4. And the height is going to be 19 1/2. And right here on the front of this crate, you're going to notice 3 of these clamps. Let's just go ahead and undo these really quick. And that's now going to allow us to swing this lid up and get access to the inside. And here is a quick look at what you can expect to see inside of your package or crate when it arrives. We got a couple t-shirts and we've also got that oven sitting right on top. Let's go ahead and start removing some of the smaller items like these t-shirts. That way we can get access to the rest of the components inside. We do have a nice color manual here, and the software is included on a USB drive right here in this baggie. You're also going to get a digital multimeter, some additional shirts. Not only did this combo come with the oven, it also came with a handheld heat press, just in case you don't have a big press in your shop. And the last straggler is going to be, of course, the DTF roll. Now that I have all of the loose and lighter components out of this crate, I'm going to go ahead and manhandle this thing, set that on the floor, and then that way I can get the oven and the actual printer over here on the workbench. So as you can see, we have an oven on top of the printer. Let's go ahead and get that removed first. So here is your first look at the included oven. This is just going to run on your standard 110. I'm going to go ahead and get this moved off of the table, and we'll go over how to use this a little bit later after we make our first print. Once you get that oven out of the way, that's going to give you access to the remaining bags. This is going to be a lot of your parts and accessories and additional features that go onto that DTF printer. So once again, I just want to show you what was inside of that crate. We're going to clear these off and get the printer out right now. So according to the Inksonic website, that bad boy weighs about 80 pounds. Let's go and see if we can muscle that thing up on the workbench. Now let's just go ahead and remove all this protective plastic so we can access the unit itself. We need to locate these 2 brackets right here, which is going to allow that DTF roll to sit on the back side of the printer, and go ahead and find these 4 knobs right here as well. Go ahead and locate the 2 threaded holes on each end of the machine, and you're going to make sure that this spring tensioner is facing on the outside. Go ahead and grab 2 pieces of that hardware and get those started in. You will now need both of these black plastic inserts. Those are going to go on your roll of DTF film. This is the DTF film rod holder, and then you're going to need these 2 little stops right here as well. Once you have the adapters on both ends of the roll, go ahead and take that rod and feed it through one end. Then you're going to go ahead and take one of these stops and you're going to put that on each end of the rod. For right now, I just have these loosely on this rod. You're also going to notice 2 indentations on each side. That's going to help you align that to this bracket. So here's a close-up of how the rod holder should fit these brackets. You have 2 grooves on the end of that rod holder. Go ahead and make sure the closest groove to the roll is inside of this little bracket. Then you're going to go ahead and use this little spring clamp, put that over the second groove, and lock that into position. Once you get this all set up, you will have to move this roll left to right, and then these sleeve adapter holders are going to go ahead and keep this roll in place so that roll doesn't move left and right and it's aligned so it'll feed out of the DTF printer correctly. And another pro tip, just like your toilet paper rolls should be, you're going to have the film mounted so the paper is on top, not underneath. Now it's time to assemble the feed tray on the front of the unit. Go ahead and find the black tray. Next up, you're going to find these 2 aluminum machine pieces, the cutter, all the proper hardware, and these 2 stainless steel rods. When installing these brackets, pay attention to proper orientation. These 2 slots are going to mount right here on the side of this bracket, and when you flip it over, the 2 holes on the inside, you want those facing out towards the cutting line right here. This little component is a built-in film cutter, and those 2 rods are going to slide right here through these bearings. So you're going to want to make sure that however you orient this little cutting wheel is going to ride inside of this groove. If you've mounted that bracket correctly with the 2 holes facing towards the front of the tray, that's going to make the setup process very easy. Now just go ahead and feed these guide rods through those holes. Now you can go ahead and set these into the bracket. To install the tray, you will notice these 2 little hooks right here, and those are going to correspond with the cutouts on the front of the unit. Simply start by feeding these into the holes. You may have to pull out slightly on that sheet metal, get it up in there, and drop it down. Now, one mistake I made was tightening these brackets really tight prior to installation, and that actually bowed these stainless steel rods out. So go ahead and give a visual inspection and make sure these rods are nice and level. When you slide the cutter left and right, it should slide nice and smooth, and that cutter should make contact inside this groove the whole entire way. That way it'll cut the entire sheet. If when you go to cut that sheet, it is not cutting it, you have your brackets too tight. Moving on to the software installation, Inksonic does provide you with this USB adapter as well as a security dongle. We are going to be looking for the USB thumb drive. Go ahead and insert that into your PC or laptop, and I highly recommend you copy and paste all of the contents off of the USB thumb drive onto your desktop. Do not attempt to run the installation process from the USB thumb drive. Go ahead and locate the zip file you transferred onto your desktop. Right-click on that, and we're going to go ahead and extract all. Go ahead and follow the instructions on screen. Now we can double-click on the C13A folder. We're going to go down here to the printer driver setup. Now go ahead and choose either 32-bit or 64-bit. If you hover over that, this one right here is the 64-bit. Let's go ahead and double-click on that. And once again, we're going to follow the instructions on screen. If you don't find your country, just go ahead and select others. Let's go ahead and install. Go ahead and choose manual. And we're going to go ahead and select COM port 1. This now says the printer driver installation and port configuration were completed successfully. Go ahead and click OK. Now let's go ahead and jump into number 3, the RIP software setup. Go ahead and double click on step 1. Please install this software first. This is the Microsoft Visual C++. You may or may not already have this installed on your computer. Our Visual C++ was installed. Let's go ahead and hit close. With that installed, we can move on to step 2. We'll double click the Inksonic RIP. And once again, we will follow the steps on screen. Go ahead and click I agree, and we will install. So if you receive this, one or more issues cause the setup to fail, please fix issues and then retry setup. We already have another version of this already installed. So if you get that, don't worry, you already have that installed on your PC. Go ahead and hit close, and we'll go ahead and click finish on this. Once you click finish, if you get dongle not detected, that's when you go back into your red box that I showed previously, and you will go ahead and insert your dongle into your laptop or PC. Now with our security dongle installed, we can navigate down here to the lower left-hand corner and double-click on the Inksonic. Let's go ahead and grant that permission as well. And that right there is how simple it is to install your print drivers and software. We're now ready to move on to loading ink into the system. Now with the software installed, let's go ahead and apply power to the machine, go through that setup process, and get the inks loaded in. Go ahead and locate your main power cord and the USB cable they provided you with. Go ahead and open this top cover, and that's going to give you access to the dampers and the carriage right here. And go ahead and remove any of this safety tape from the shipping process. Go ahead and flip the main power switch on the back side of the unit, and for this portion of the setup, we're going to focus right here on the power button on the front of the panel. You're going to want to go ahead and engage this button for a couple seconds until that light starts flashing. Once that light starts flashing, you should start to see the print head making some movement, and this carriage is going to move left and right across the printer. There we go. Once that process is complete, we're now going to be ready to check the film and the vacuum table. We're now going to focus on the up and down arrows over here, as well as our DTF roll. We are now ready to feed the DTF film through the printer. Go ahead and take this roll and feed your film down until you get a little bit of resistance, and then you're going to locate the arrow pointing downward. Let's go ahead and give that a press. And as you can see, that now fed the film through the printer, and if we wanted to retract it, we would just use the opposite button, so that is working correctly. Now right next to that is going to be the vacuum table, and this does have 3 settings, so let's go ahead and test this out really quick. Very good. You can hear the vacuum kick on. Vacuum is working. We are now ready to load ink, so go ahead and locate your side cover right here and lift this up, and that's now going to expose your CMYK, which is your cyan, magenta, black, yellow, and white, and this right here is going to be your waste tank. So let's go ahead and take off the cap on the cyan, and this is pretty self-explanatory. You're simply going to match up your cyan color with the cyan jug, rinse and repeat. Now the most important step is when it comes to the white. The white is definitely way more prone to clogging, so you want to make sure you give this a really good shaking before adding it to the jug. We are now ready to load the ink inside the print head. Make sure you leave the power on the back of the unit turned on, but prior to loading the ink, you want to make sure that the red light is off on the front power panel. For this process, we're going to focus on these 2 buttons. The button with the plus symbol to the far right is going to load or inject the ink into the print head, and this is going to handle our white. So all we're going to do for this process, we're going to start with the CMYK, and we're simply going to hold this button down. And as you can clearly see, pun intended, these lines are clear, there is no ink, and the dampers are clear as well. So let's go ahead and hold that button down and watch the magic happen. I can hear the pump kicking on. You can see the white is starting to come through right here. Here comes our magenta. Next up, here comes the black. Here comes our cyan and our yellow. This far outside should have one more white. When loading your ink, this is the waste station tank I showed earlier. Go ahead and keep holding the inject button down until you start to see some ink coming out into that waste tank. See that dirty ink coming through now? Okay, we're good to go. Now I don't see any white ink in this outside line, so I'm going to go ahead and hold down the W button, which was right next to that initial button. So let's go ahead and hold that down and see if that starts to inject white ink into that last line. There we go. Do you see the white come into that last line? And once again, just watch your waste tank, and as soon as you see the ink going in, you're done. That's one of the new features featured on the C13A. The older models, you had to get out that syringe and draw that ink up into those dampers. A little bit messy and intimidating for some folks. As you can see, that was basically pressing one button and getting that ink loaded up into it. Now let's go ahead and do a nozzle clean. You're going to pay attention to the button next to the power with this little droplet. Go ahead and press and hold this for about 5 seconds to start the nozzle cleaning process. We are now cleaning the nozzle. While the unit is cleaning that nozzle, go ahead and open that cover and pay attention to your waste tank. You'll notice on this unit there's a large tube on the left and a small tube on the right. The larger tube on the left handled the waste ink when we were loading it, and that smaller tube right now is showing the waste ink from the nozzle cleaning. As you can see, the carriage is still doing its thing. We are now ready to print our first DTF transfer. Let's go ahead and move up to the top here, and you're going to locate this icon, and it says Add Picture. Go ahead and click on that. We are going to import a TIFF file, and I applied a spot channel to this image in Photoshop. In another video, I will show you how to properly set up your artwork. Now, I want to come over here on the X-axis, and I'm going to go ahead and move this in from the edge Let's just do 0.2 inches. Now let's locate these two arrows to the left. Go ahead and click on those one time, and we're going to locate the little icon right here that says Advanced Options. We like to use manual print after rip, so that's what we have selected. Over here, you also want to double check and make sure that you have your proper printer selected, and this right here is the Epson Stylus Photo 1390. That is correct. Go ahead and click OK. Back on the graphic page, let's go and come up here to this icon that says rip, and let's click on that. You will notice it automatically mirrored this image for us. We're going to go ahead and just click print. Right now, the RIP software is processing the artwork and getting it ready to print. Because we have this set to manual, you will now need to right-click on this and then choose the print icon right here. So as you can see with a DTF printer, it's going to lay down the color first, then it'll come back over the top and lay down that white base. That's why your image is mirrored. You can already see how bright and vibrant those colors are right now. Now, if you look down at the top of the dinosaur's head, you'll notice that white starting to cover the color. That is the correct way this should be printing. Once it's completed printing, you're simply going to use the film feed option and go ahead and eject that print out. And one thing we really like about this version is it has a built-in cutter. Let's just go ahead and cut that really quick and take a look at our first print. I don't know how well that comes across the camera, but that is really bright and vibrant. And as you can see on the back side, it's got that nice white covering on it. Now we're going to take it over to the powder station and show you how that works. Once your transfer is finished printing, there's another step involved in the process, and that's going to be covering that ink with this DTF transfer powder. So the way to do that is we're going to pour that into this container, then we're going to coat the backside of that transfer. Let me show you how we do that. So I'm just going to take the transfer, put it over here under this pile of powder, use this little cup, and we're just going to sprinkle some of the powder over on top of this. Then we're just going to shake it all around. Make sure we just get a nice little coating on it. Once you have the transfer coated, some people throw it right into the oven. This is our first time pressing one of these, and I did see a good tip about letting this hang to dry for a little bit, so we're going to try that method. So for right now, I'm just going to hang this transfer up for about 30 or 40 minutes prior to putting that in the oven. Inksonic recommends a temperature of 160 to 180 degrees Celsius and anywhere from 6 seconds to 30 seconds. You will have to do some experimenting with how much powder you have or the type of powder you have, and you're just going to have to kind of experiment as you go. We are doing our very first one at 170, and we're going to try 15 seconds. Now, the way this oven works is it has 4 different infrared lamps inside of here. You will need to wire those lamps, and I'll have a link in the description down below that shows you exactly how to wire those. Very simple process. We're up to temperature. Let's get our DTF transfer in here and try this thing out. On this oven, you're going to notice 2 power switches. The first switch is the main power supply. The second switch is going to control the timer. So what I'm going to do is open this drawer, flip that switch on, lay this transfer with the powder facing up, and once I close that drawer, the automatic timer is going to start counting down. So here we have the DTF transfer out of that oven, and it is cooled down. And if you look at the white, it's probably hard to catch on camera. You just want a real nice uniform curing on this. You'll notice it's not yellow or burnt anywhere around the edges, and I don't see any differences in the texture across the whole print. So I think this is going to work out pretty well. Again, it's just going to take a little trial and error with you using this stuff. We are now ready to press our first DTF transfer, and today we're going to be using a Vevor 16x24 flat heat press. We're going to be pressing this on a cotton t-shirt for my son. So with cotton, they recommend anywhere from 325 degrees all the way up to 350 degrees, anywhere from 12 to 15 seconds. So for this video, we're going to be doing 325 at 15 seconds. And it doesn't matter what type of heat press you have. We actually have a couple different ones here in the workshop, and Inksonic sent out one of their handheld heat presses, and I'm going to show you how to utilize that in a later video. So if you've never pressed a DTF shirt before, you're gonna go ahead and put the white side down with the image facing up, and we're gonna be using medium pressure. I believe this is cold peel film, so once this comes off of the press, we're gonna let this cool to room temperature, and then we'll peel the top off. Let's go ahead and get this over here on that t-shirt and test this out. Now again, depending on whether you have a hot peel or a cold peel is going to determine how fast you can take that top transfer off. We're going to go ahead and set this aside and let it cool to room temperature prior to peeling this off. Now that we've let this cool down to room temperature, let's go ahead and peel this up and see how we did. Oh man. How cool is that? Those are some incredibly bright, vibrant colors. I think my little guy's going to love this. Okay, buddy.
What?
I made you something.
Okay.
You want to see what it is?
Yeah.
First of all, we made you a shirt.
Okay.
What color is that?
Purple.
Do you like purple?
Yeah.
Would you like to open it up and take a look at it?
Yeah.
Wait up. Ready? Let me show you. Move your hands. Move your hands. Ready?
Yeah.
3,
It's a dinosaur.
2, 1. What do you think?
Good.
What is it?
It's a dinosaur.
You want to show everybody? What do you think?
Good.
How's this? Let me see.
Good.
You want to try it on?
Yeah.
Here we go. What do you think? How's it look?
Good.
How's it feel? Show everybody a super dance. Show them the dino dance. That's what I'm talking about. High five, bud. Come here. I'm glad you like it, buddy. Well, guys, I don't know about you, but I would say that is a success. Lots to learn when it comes to DTF printing, but as you can see, that was a pretty easy setup. Our first transfer printed really good, and we actually got it pressed onto the t-shirt. So really excited to see what else we could do with this thing in the future. So big thank you to the team over at Inksonic for sending out the C13A DTF printer. There are a lot of these size printers on the market, and some of the standout features I really liked on this unit was that one button press for getting that ink loaded up, and then having the ability to go ahead and clean the head and nozzle like we were doing. That's going to really help this unit from clogging up. We obviously just unboxed this and made our first prints today. I'm going to be really excited to learn a little bit more about this printer in the coming months, and I also want to see what the longevity is of this printer. And if you guys gained any value out of this video and you've been thinking about picking up a DTF printer, I would highly recommend you look at this unit, and of course, I will have a link to that down below. And if you purchase using that link, that helps support our channel. Thanks again for everybody that supports our channel. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this unit. And also let me know some of the topics you want me to cover on this unit. And we'll catch you guys on the next video.